What's up, man?
I'm here.
What is that noise?
I appeared. That's what happens when I appear. It's like
I
a
love
genie popping out of this wooden wall, this wooden slatted wall.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts outside of our own, which I know you listen to every week?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. Lately, I haven't. I've gotten sucked into the world of YouTube Shorts, and so I'll doom scroll for a while.
Okay.
So I'll pick up pieces, and if there's something that's interesting, this is actually a weird habit, and I wonder if a lot of people do this. But if there's a chunk of something that comes up, I'll go find the podcast, and then I'll watch that portion of it. But it's rare that I listen to them. When I'm in the office, I've got music on all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do listen to podcasts. I've
Yeah.
been really, really into the Seth Meyers podcast with
Yeah.
Lonely Island.
Yeah.
And they go through and they talk about all of their videos they made for SNL. And obviously, people probably don't know this, but I do improv comedy on the side. I have a troupe that performs twice a month in Houston. If you're ever in town, let me know. I'll tell you when we're playing.
What's the name? Can you say it on air? Isn't it a nasty name?
No, it's not. It's Hodgepodge AF, but the AF is
nasty.
Is nasty. Yeah.
Also, it stands for also fun.
Yeah, we are also fun. But listening to them talk about their sketches in such a clinical ways is lovely to me because I am nowhere near as talented as them. But
Sure.
Doing improv and sketch comedy, you do get very methodical about how you think about the nuts and bolts of what makes things funny. And it's great to hear people who are, the funniest people in America talk about it.
Yeah, I love there's songwriting stuff that I get interested in that I'll listen to too, and people will go through their process of songwriting. And outside of the guys that are I was just in a hotel room one night and it just started flowing through me. It's people have process and they'll sit down and map it out, or they'll have exercises that they'll do to get things started and kind of move it forward. And it's
I think
it's always interesting getting a peek into that process.
Podcasts have really revealed to me that creative people, all people, whatever they're great at, they systematize their approach to it.
Yeah.
So that even when they're not feeling it, they have a system to rely on to go back to it and create whatever, whether it's business leaders talking about, hey, this is what you have to do. And I think that's the idea of you got to make 100 cold calls a day.
Right.
You don't have to, but if that's your process, then even when you're not getting business, you're still working hard and putting in the time and effort.
It's very true. That's very well. Let's talk about two guys who didn't go through the process and leaned heavily on AI today to generate topics.
Oh, who is that?
It's Ben and Trae. Yeah, I just this morning I was like, man, we got to get on and get some stuff done today. And I did what we preach against, but I feel like this could be fun. Neither one of us have talked about this stuff, but we basically generated a bunch of topics to go through, and we'll see how it goes, man. So
yeah, will our true personality shine through the AI?
I don't know, man.
Or will
I'll just read it flatly, read the whole thing.
Hello, Ben.
I do like these topics though, so let's talk. Let's get into this. Let's talk about the first one. So I love these titles too. It came up with great titles. From factory floor to front page, building brand awareness through industrial video. So going into our commercial and industrial video prowess, how do you turn technical operations into compelling stories that resonate with both customers and stakeholders? So these are things we've talked about before, and we can go over again, but finding some way to humanize the brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go in and shoot these highly technical or operational kind of things and find some way to turn them into real people doing those jobs. I think that's the end of the end all be all. That's the goal of that thing. And it's interesting because I feel like we do this. There's some stuff we shoot for the military. And for me, that stuff is always best told from the mouths of the soldiers. You can shoot all that footage of drones doing stuff and things flying around, but those shots that you get of the guys talking about what they're doing that day and the weather and what's going on and the challenges, that stuff really is super compelling to me. and makes that story what it is. And I assume it's the same thing with, a lot of the oil and gas stuff that we've done too. If you're at these technical conferences or pitch days, but hearing the people and seeing them talk about those things directly rather than just a bunch of scripted, word salad goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, for the products or for the solutions that we're creating videos for, if we can let people know through compelling video about why the solution makes their lives better
Yeah.
and why this solution is something that's going to make their jobs better, give them more time to do other creative things or
Yeah.
other time that they can spend with their family, then that is what gets people hooked. I don't think that videos are great at doing technical details. I think that a
Right.
lot of times the engineers and the product
Mm.
managers that are going to want to get into the nuts and bolts of the solution are going to still want to be able to read and
Sure.
look at visuals. And I think that's where and those are the people that want to generate content ideas or content marketing for the company. That's when you get into a little bit of a power struggle, because you have to be like, hey, I know that that's actually what is compelling to you
Mm.
to make the sell, but what's compelling to you to get started on thinking about the product isn't
Yeah.
the technical paper. Like no one's going to read the white paper in a video. They don't care about that. They want
Yeah.
to be hooked emotionally.
Yeah. I feel like once you've proven to them with whatever the product is or whatever you're doing that you're solving a problem, they're like, okay, this is going to solve a problem. Then it's up to you to like, they got to want to do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just solve the problem. They also have to want to do business with you. And that's that
Yeah.
human touch. But, that's the other reason that I really like behind the scenes stuff. I love seeing the behind the scenes footage of any shoot, because that really breaking that wall and taking you outside of the production and seeing it from another angle. It's really cool. And I think that's super compelling. You're like, oh yeah, these are people doing this, putting this together. And it's like, that's how they made this. That's how they did it. And it just feels to me that it feels so much more real than just some uber scripted flat piece that you put out there. So I don't know. I think those are all good.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that it's important to show your customers who you are. And I mean, in the sense that we were talking about processes a little bit earlier, when it
Yeah.
comes to doing creative things, if you're a company that has like really sound processes and you can show that to people, I think that makes everybody feel more comfortable. They
Sure.
know that you're not missing small details in
Yeah.
the product. And what's interesting, like I actually I could be, so I have an old Explorer and I have to get the water pump changed on it. It's
Yeah.
going to be my son's car.
Car talk. Here we go. Let's go.
180,000 miles. So I found a bunch of places around here that'll do it for a little bit less. But when I call them, I had to explain to him like, hey, you're going to have to do this. You're going to
Yeah.
do this. And it made me so nervous that me, the person that only knows this because I like watched YouTube videos,
Yeah.
was like, I don't think you quite understand like how difficult this process is.
Yeah.
And I went with the guy that was a little bit more expensive, but he was like, oh no, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure that we replace all of these seals and valves in addition to just the water pump, because we're going to have to take your whole engine apart.
Yeah. And now you're not going to have to go back or they're going to miss something. So I had the opposite thing happen. I just sold a car and I was trying to sell it on the private market. And I was putting it out there, and it was the same thing. People would call and they didn't quite understand what the car was. They didn't understand the modifications that I had done to it. And so everybody was thinking they were going to be able to get loans to buy it, which you're not going to be able to finance this car. You kind of going to have to do a cash deal. And so I knew that it was going to be a major hassle. I ended up selling it outright to an online, one of these online marketplaces that'll just buy your car sight unseen, because they called me. He asked me for all the documentation. He asked me exactly what I had done to the car. He asked me to send receipts for all the work. They made me an offer on it, said they'll get me a check. And I took several $1,000s less, but it was because I wasn't going to have to mess around with all the rigmarole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they asked the right questions and got the right stuff for me and understood what was going on. And I was like, I'm just going to sell it to you because I don't want to mess with this anymore.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I lost a bunch of money, but it was like the process was easier. So that's the other side of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have this video, you've built this brand awareness, and you've done all these things we talked about. You have a compelling story. You're humanizing the brand. You're doing some behind the scenes. You've got a good narrative and telling a good story. Then I think it comes back into play that you're using it across multiple platforms, and we need to make sure that we're really getting the value out of that. So whether you're doing a loop at a trade show, whether you've got it on your website, you're repurposing for LinkedIn, or using it in your sales presentations. I mean, I think we just did something recently where they only wanted it to use on LinkedIn. And so I think I hit you up to have you reformat the video specifically for that. And I think those are the kind of the details that people miss. They'll just shoot something and get it in one ratio or aspect ratio, and then they'll just try to put it out everywhere. And maybe it doesn't match the format you're putting it on. So
Yeah.
be mindful of that stuff at the end of the day too, like where you're going to put it and how it looks there, how it's consumed on that platform, and make sure that you're meeting those specifications when you put it there. Seems
Well,
simple,
and the
but
other weird
it
thing is
makes a
like
big deal.
platforms are always changing. Well, not always, but they'll like LinkedIn specifically will change whether it prefers square videos,
Yeah.
9:16 or 16:9. So like
Yeah.
right now they're really into 9:16.
Yeah.
And
For
they are,
phone.
if you have, yeah, for phone and for scrolling, they're trying to see if scrolling video will get people to hang out on LinkedIn more. I don't know if it
Yeah.
will. It seems like it makes it more social, which is kind of a good thing, but also it takes away from the business centric aspect that I think people appreciate about LinkedIn.
Sure.
Uh,
All right. Well, let's get into this next one, because
okay.
that leads right into what you just said. So, trust through the lens. I like that. Well, this is clever. How video builds loyalty with customers and employees. I like the and employees part. So, I guess this really would go into like client testimonials and case studies, to kind of build trust. And for me, that's a mixed bag. And the reason that it's a mixed bag for me is that I love client testimonials, and I think they're great. And I think they can really drive a narrative too for a video. But a lot of that stuff tends to be long winded, and it also tends to be case specific, right? So if I'm giving a client testimonial, generally speaking, it's specific about my experience for the product that I used or the service that I got, which may not be something that somebody else got. So trying to make those a little more generic and shorter, I think, is super important. And so like just getting into the level of service that you provide or the trust that the client has with you, or those things, I think is more important than getting those hyper specific testimonials. Leave those for the long form reviews on a review site or something. But
Yeah.
I've seen some of those where they put these testimonial videos together, and it's 12 minutes long and it's only 3 people, and you just have these rambling long testimonials that I don't know if anybody's watching.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that people really forget is that a lot of times when we consume videos, we're not consuming it for the specific story. It's all for impressions. And so if your brand has 2 or 3 qualities that you want to emphasize, and it should, that's how it becomes a brand. You need to make sure that you are, as soon as one of those things is mentioned, I mean, that can be the end of the story.
Yeah.
Or you have 3 quick testimonials that each hit on one of those traits.
Yeah.
And then that can be the end of the video. Like you don't need a lot. You just need like for audio, if we had a video and someone was like, "Hey, these guys are great at customer service." And then the second one would be like, "Man, they are so technically proficient. They saved our butts." And then number 3 would be like, "They were a joy to work with."
Yeah. Just pull the one-liners, man.
Yeah.
Get you out the door. Well, so the other thing too is internal videos. Cause I like the part about the employees, and we had one customer that comes to mind, that was in the mortgage business that I thought did a great job at that. And they would come in and do like their quarterly sales things, and they would bring in all of their, district managers from, whatever part of the country they were from, and they would hype everybody up, and they would simulcast it across all of the offices.
All their offices, yeah.
It was awesome. And people got jacked, and then they would do a big lunch at the corporate headquarters, and they would push this thing out, and then
they would shout out like individual people in front of the 2,500 people that were watching.
Yeah, it was awesome. And
hey, this person did great sales.
Yeah, I think that was a huge morale booster for that company. And it was one of the like coolest internal things that I saw, where they were like really, that gets you excited. You want to get mentioned. You want to hear them say your name. You want to do good next time. You want to be on that leaderboard. And I love that kind of stuff. But we've also had people that are really good at doing the just like executive updates, like a quarterly state of the association.
Mm-hmm.
We had a trial lawyers association that would come in and do some stuff to talk to their members. And I thought that was really powerful because they send out, you'll see the emails like, oh, a letter from the CEO. It's like, who gives a shit? But if
Yeah.
you sit down and it's them talking to you, not super scripted, not like really cold, but it humanizes the company a little bit more and gives it a face. And I think that can be a really powerful way to build loyalty with your employees, just giving them that face time that they may not get every day.
Yeah, we've also done a series of videos for a different client, and they are, they have like 15,000 employees. And so they're always scrambling to get the right people in the right positions. And they use video content to reach potential employees. And they've had a lot of success doing that because people will watch them and be like, oh, that does seem like a pretty cool place to work.
Yeah.
And I think that is another thing that if you can use videos to reinforce your qualities as an employer, it helps your HR team in recruiting, and it helps people inside the company realize, like, if you really mean it, this is what we stand for.
Yeah.
And then they maybe don't get such itchy feet to leave, or they don't feel like what they hear on the paper in the break room is different than what the company actually believes.
That's why we're doing these. It's just to keep all of our Audion employees here. They're like, oh, those guys are nice. Like, I'm going to stay here.
Cool.
But so here's the last piece about this I want to talk about, especially when it comes to, using, especially when it comes to like the corporate, like the CEOs giving the address and stuff, or like doing the internal videos, balancing that kind of like natural flow with still something that can be articulated well. And I feel like that's a real struggle for a lot of people. And so we'll have people oftentimes say, I want to be on prompter, or we have to put him on prompter. And it's like, okay, we can put him on prompter, which I agree with. You should have a prompter there, or at least cue cards or something.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you use the prompter just for bullet points? What if you use it just to hit the highlights and then let them ease into those a little bit, or give them a sentence or two and then let them expand upon that, rather than having it fully scripted to where it just reads so cold.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there are some people that can't do that, and that's fine. You got to know your talent and know what you can or can't do. But I really think that's something that if you're thinking about creating video and you're thinking about who's going to be on camera, put some thought into how they're going to deliver that video and the support you're going to give them. And I am a big fan of just doing the bullet points on a prompter or on cue cards and letting them kind of get through a little bit, because we can do a little bit of cleanup in post. We don't want to be like inefficient, but that I feel like that plays so much better than just a straight read,
Agreed.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you agree with me. I thought you were going to fight me on that one.
No, I like it when people are not 100% on prompter, because I really think that they use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
And they lose. A lot of times you'll have like C-suite guys that are like really fun to talk to.
Yeah.
And then they get in front of the prompter and they kind of clam up.
Yeah.
And you're like, like, I get it. You didn't want to say anything you weren't supposed to, but you're losing the charm that you have, which is why you have this position.
Right.
Like, you're a great leader and a great speaker.
Yeah.
Like, let that shine.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let's see here. Doing more with less, high impact production on a budget. Well, this is timely. So yeah, efficient planning. Something we preach. Scripting and storyboarding. That stops you from doing a bunch of crazy reshoots, right? From doing things over and over again. It doesn't even have to be like, when I tell people scripted or storyboarded, I'm not expecting them to give me some like Hollywood script or some like massive multi-page storyboard. I actually have an idea what we're doing. So
in fact, if they gave that to you, you'd be a little worried.
I'd freak out. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do with this.
What is this 15-page short film?
God, actually, I probably would freak out. But it's nice to have something, to go off of, so that you've got that kind of narrative in mind and you're shooting to script or shooting to that storyboard, rather than going out and getting. I mean, you talked about this last week. You were doing that podcast and there wasn't really a format in place yet. So you shot everything and then look at what your post-production looked like. I mean, it was,
for sure.
Took forever. So,
they did like it though.
Did they?
Liked the finished product.
Good. I mean, you did a good job, man. Modular content.
I mean, we talked about that last week, right? If you are shooting something, you need to make sure that you get the most out
That's
of
right.
the moment. Shoot B-roll, shoot
Yes.
quick testimonies and interviews, and have a library of content that you can go back to. You
Yes.
don't have to do a shoot every 2 weeks, every week. Like
That's
you
right.
can keep it for,
We will do that for you though, but yes. Yes.
like budget permitting, it's better.
Yeah.
No, but like, you know, like if you have a great day or a great 2 days of shooting, that will last you for
Yeah,
2 months, 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just make the library. Just know what you have, and then use what you have. Like reuse it. And it's okay to like reuse shots, reuse stories to tell the story of your company.
I love nothing better than that when we've got a client that allows us to like give them everything with time code. They've got a big repository of stuff. They go, hey, we have an event coming up. I want you to go to this clip and pull from here to here, this clip from here to here, this clip from here to here. They've already got it. It's ready to go. They paid for it one time. But then they get to use it over and over again and don't have to reshoot. It's super smart. And it's, and now with all like the AI stuff and being able to get the transcripts so easily, it's just a no brainer to do that. So, okay. Well, good. We're in agreement.
What is Chat GPT? Like knows the ins and outs of our job.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, we're about to be out of business. Just kidding. The 48-hour miracle, strategies for shooting and delivering fast. Well, first of all, let's not ever do anything in 48 hours because that's insane. But actually, we've done on-site stuff where we've turned it same day. And
I mean, we do this quite a bit. You just have to like, because it's a lot of time. We have to charge a little bit extra, but we can get it delivered to you in that fast.
Yeah, actually, we have done that a lot more than what I thought about. I mean, we were doing a whole bunch of that last year. I feel like every shoot that you came on to, we were doing those like setup day videos for them to get people pumped about the event and like shooting everything. And then you were kicking it out same day. That was cool.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Nate and Matt are doing that right now. They're at that big event at Kalahari.
They're going to have
Matt's with them shooting B-roll. And I think they were turning some dailies for them. So that's cool.
I mean, we did that for another client where we were out in the field, and at the end of it was a big presentation they were doing, and they needed the footage that we shot that week as a 20-minute backdrop for the presenters.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a lot of work because it was pretty crazy stuff that we were shooting.
Speaking of that, we had somebody do that. Same thing. We had an LED wall set up and they hadn't really planned anything. And I remember we were building the audio setup. The LED wall was already in place and was running. And the event manager came in and was like didn't have, like, we just assumed that they had some stuff for us to play on that, you know, like some graphics. They really didn't have anything. And so in an hour's time, we took some footage from the day and a bunch of photos. We got the photographer to give us a bunch of stuff and built out this really awesome, you know, loop that just played throughout the night of the party. And it was the biggest thing ever. And now they want to do it every time. So that's also kind of a problem. They're like, oh, can we do that every single time? We're like, gosh, yeah, sure you can. But let's build it into the budget, you know, let's not just do it. Cause that was a Hail Mary. We were trying to do it. So also, I mean let me say this. We didn't set a realistic expectation with the client, you know, that was not a normal thing to do. Mm-hmm. So now the expectation is that we can do it every time. And the reality is that was pretty hard to pull off. So I think that with any of this stuff, when you're trying to turn it fast, that you set expectations on what that looks like. Cause there's that old, what's the adage? Fast, good, and cheap, pick two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you can't always get all of those things. So you can do it, you know, fast and cheap, but it may not be great, you know?
Well, and chances are you asked somebody to do 2 jobs for that job, you know,
for sure.
On that, you know, someone had to like jump in and do something that probably meant that instead of getting to take like sleep.
Yeah. Right. No dinner for you until this is done.
Yeah.
Well, also I think bringing the right gear out, which I think we're pretty good at, you know, because a lot of times if you're on site and let's say you're doing an event, and it's strictly a broadcast event, that gear set is a little bit different than what like a B-roll kit looks like or an ENG kit looks like. So setting those expectations that you want this stuff and that you want some daily video, whatever. I'm not going to be able to pull my broadcast cams down, throw them on my shoulder, and go around and get you the same kind of footage that you can get with a Ronin or, the little DJI gimbals and stuff. So
yeah, it's true.
But you're always good about bringing a good B-roll kit with you everywhere, so that's good. Back into industrial. So industrial storytelling, making the mundane magnetic. God, these are great. Maybe we should use this more. Maybe everything I've said about AI is a lie.
Maybe it just shows that it's always listening to you and hears you talking.
Also, my prompts were really good. Let me just say that. I did put in a really specific.
You want to give us the prompt sauce?
Here's my prompt. Let's see.
Help me. I don't know what to talk about today.
Give me 5 topics for discussion in a podcast about providing video production to commercial and industrial clients. The focus should be on value, brand awareness and reinforcement, building trust with customers, employees, and overcoming common challenges with shooting on a budget and tight timelines. Give me some tips for each topic to discuss. That was my. Anyway, so making the mundane magnetic. So I guess this is like making things that seem everyday stick, right? So what really grabs attention? And I think we talked about that narrative, that humanization of what's going on. Really telling a compelling story to get people engaged and involved in whatever's going on. Taking all that data and all those specifications and making that into a story. I guess motion graphics are pretty important too. Putting stuff in, that engages you throughout the video. So it's not just, images of people doing things, but also that you've got some kind of descriptive illustrations that can help kind of drive that stuff too. And there's also not always a ton of budget for stuff like that, but you can do simple things. I think that we're pretty good about doing supers that aren't like crazy, but that add to the story,
Well, and like, I had a client that I was talking to about doing a shoot, and they're a little hesitant because of budget.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be, for what it was going to be pretty expensive. And it was sort of like a client appreciation video.
Sure.
And so I was like, we were trying to brainstorm about ways to make it cheaper, because they do have some people on their staff that like to shoot video, and so then I'm like, I feel like, in this case, one thing that we bring apart from our technical excellence is just like knowing how to help people frame their stories.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it would be possible, if you wanted to, for us to just sit down and brainstorm about different ways for you guys to shoot video, so that it's not like people who like to shoot video but don't ever tell stories.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is the problem that people have with videographers, even though I'm always called a videographer.
Yeah.
That's fine. But a lot of times it's like someone who's on the earlier stages of storytelling, and they will come in and they'll shoot video and it will be nice, but then editing it together and making a coherent story that actually helps sell your brand and isn't just like noise, a noise piece that you throw against the social media wall. I got to send you this clip. I wish we could do like real world examples, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. This was a client that we worked with back in COVID when they were 100% virtual, and it's a big group. And we did all their stuff virtually during COVID. And then when they went back in person, they went back with the production company they were using on the East Coast that didn't do virtual stuff, that did in person. But I was in my feed as I was doom scrolling, they're at this massive event, tens of thousands of people. And you could tell that somebody had written a script. It was like, we came together as one to learn under one roof. We walked away with values instilled. And it was like this narrative. The shots made absolutely no sense to what, you know what I mean? It was like, they had video, they had a script, but none of it lined up. So I was watching it and it was super disorienting. It was like confusing to me. Yeah. I don't know if it was to everybody, because I don't know if everybody watches stuff the same way we do, but it was definitely not very impactful. It just was like you heard the words and it felt dramatic, but you're looking at the images and they don't match that.
And I was like, I don't get this. Like, what? This was like, you just had to put something out today, so you put this out?
Yeah, there's an editor I know that I learned a lot from, and one of the things that like when I would be in the room with him, he'd always be like, "Call me stupid, but I like to keep it simple. If the VO says I'm a red block, well then you better
Show the red
show the
block.
red block."
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was like the opposite of that. It just made no sense.
it'd be
It
like a
was
blue cloud. You're like, huh?
yeah, I'll have to send this to you because it was weird. I was thinking about it last night. Like, I want to talk about this tomorrow, but I don't want to get, because I mean, who knows? I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know how it was put together. But to your point, it just it was like somebody knew how to shoot video,
Mm-hmm.
somebody knew how to write a script, but nobody knew how to put it together, and it just
Yeah,
didn't. It fell really flat. So I don't know. But I do think that mundane content can be pretty impactful. I think that we've proven that several times. Not that I'm calling any of our clients mundane. I would never do that. But you're in a 3-day continuing education seminar, not the most riveting stuff in the world. I mean, for people there, I'm sure there's some value to be had and they're excited to see, but you take that stuff and you show the networking and you show the after party and you show like quick pans of the room during the education. You show like a really engaged speaker. Like,
mm-hmm.
it starts to make that mundane stuff really impactful, and people go, wow, man, like I should have been there. I would have loved to see that. Same with the pitch day stuff, or same with some of these industrial shoots. It's like, okay, you're in a giant factory with valves and pipes and like all this stuff everywhere. Okay,
Yeah, like
just
no one's excited about a pump, like pump production, but you can make it look amazing.
you can make it look awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just finding ways to make that boring content more impactful, I think is great. Damn, dude, I am I am very conflicted right now. I have to tell you that
About about how
these
much
were
you like me.
great topics, and this was all AI generated topics, man.
Mm.
It
Well,
was
I'm
good stuff.
conflicted.
I didn't have to put any thought into it.
Yeah. I wish I had a snappy comeback. Like, I'm conflicted because I've sent you these for weeks.
I will tell you, I'll leave you with this story because I know we're coming up on 30 minutes, but I had to buy this is just a customer service story in general about providing good customer service. Um, and also, like, I should send you this picture because it looks AI generated, but I went to buy some, shipping containers like that come in from the port. I've got to put some storage out,
Smithville?
on some land. Yeah, that I have, Smithville. And I went to this place down by the dump in Creedmoor to buy it. And I pull up and there's a Lamborghini in the park. It's like just shipping containers and then a Lamborghini, yellow Lamborghini. I'll send you the picture. I was like, this is bizarro world. And this kid comes out and I go, I got to be in the wrong place. If y'all have a Lamborghini in the parking lot, I cannot afford to buy anything here. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, no, man, this has never happened. It's crazy. We were freaking out. And I was like, who is it? Is it the owner? And he's like, no, it's those two guys over there. And it was two like day workers, like in dirty clothes, like paint on it,
Yeah.
boots, like they just got off of a shift and came to buy a container. And I was like, this is insane. And so it was like really funny. The kid was talking to me and it was hilarious. And we talked through the whole thing and I got these containers picked out and I went inside and it was like the hot topic of the office, about what was going on with this Lamborghini and these guys buying it. But I was like, what? Like never judge a book by its cover. First of all, you see a Lamborghini, like there's two scenarios in my mind that happen with this. One, a Lamborghini pulls up and they go, oh, we're going to put the screws to this guy. He's going to pay whatever he wants for anything. The other is if these two dudes just walked in, you would be like, oh, well, they're hardworking dudes. Like, let's give them a deal. So what do you do now when these two hardworking dudes pull up in this Lamborghini? Like, how does your sales strategy change? It was really funny to me.
Did you ever ask the dudes like about their Lamborghini?
I did not. I just assumed that they were into some nefarious business because it was like they were buying two brand new one trip 40-foot shipping containers. And it seemed very sketchy. I was just like, I didn't want to ask any questions or look in their general direction. I was
You're
just
like, I don't want to get involved in any way.
No, I don't want to end up
This
in
is
that
the start of
shipping
a bad
container.
movie.
Yeah, I don't want to
This
end up in
this
it.
is Ben the action star.
Zero, dude. I was like, take me in the other office. Let's figure out this deal. I want to get out of here because it seemed very nefarious, but whatever. It was just such an interesting scenario where I was like, what a weird sales thing for this guy to come out, see a Lambo pull up, and then see these two like dudes get out that just don't like. How do you sell that to them? It was funny. Anyway, that was my funny story for the week. But I did buy some shipping containers. I'm going to make a little barn out of them. I'm pretty excited about it.
Can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be cool, man. Have you been up there?
I've never been to your property in Smithville.
I'll take you up there. It's fun. It's not a lot, but it's something.
I love something.
I love something too, man.
All right.
I love this. Well, this was good, dude. There's actually a lot of really good stuff here. I'm interested to see the transcript from this because I feel like there's a lot of really good. Also,
points.
I love these titles.
Yeah.
From factory floor to front page, building brand awareness through industrial video. God, I want to like write a book called that.
The other thing I just want to say is, I don't know who's listening to our podcast, but thank you for listening. If you make it this far, we like, I've been looking at our numbers.
Yeah.
And so we've had for two guys talking about B2B video stuff.
Yeah.
Surprisingly high numbers of people
I think
watching.
it's our aesthetic. I think that we took the fire and ice thing from what Nate and Adam used to do. We're like, I'm the fire, you're the ice. It's the visual that was like totally non-intentional. I think it's that we're both beautiful men and people just want to watch us talk. So
they're like, wow, look at those brown and gray beards.
Very gray beard. You'll get there, buddy.
That's why I had to trim my beard. It was a little too gray. I was like,
well, at some point you won't be able to stop it. So let's keep going. Okay, cool, dude. Well, I'm going to get back to it. I got some stuff to finish up here, and then I'm going to go to Galveston this weekend, and I'm going to go see an Astros game. So I'll be in your area.
Have fun watching the Stros.
I'm excited they're going to play the Red Sox. I get to see Bregman play. So
they're doing so good this year. No one was expecting it.
Yeah, we just had a really big slump, though, and we busted out of it. The last 2 games, well, we won 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, which were good. But now we're going into some tougher ones, and we're going to see the Red Sox again, who swept us.
Are we still leading the AL West?
Yes, but I think by like 3 games right now. So not a whole lot.
All right. Well,
there's a lot of season left, though.
A lot of season left, but still, this was supposed to be a down year. We were supposed to.
Look, we could do a whole baseball podcast now, but like it's been like our AAA guys that they've had to brought up. We had 18 guys on the IL. There's only 40 men on the roster, so half your team's on the injured list, and it was like mostly starters. It was bad.
Yeah. I actually very rarely go see the Astros play, but I do go see our AAA team play all the time because I live
the Space City Cowboys.
Yeah, Space
awesome.
Cowboys. They are from Sugar Land.
Yeah,
it's about 5 minutes away from my house. Tickets are $5.
But you could go, like Jeremy Pena was just there. Like all the guys that come, like you can go see.
Yeah, we can go see all the Astros, and it's so cheap.
I mean, I would love that. That is amazing.
They don't play very much though. Like,
I
think he batted once, and then after he gets in one at bat or 2 sometimes.
Yeah, they'll bring him back up. Yeah, they don't want him to get hurt there.
No, not at all. If any of the pitchers are there, they'll pitch 2 innings tops, 3 innings tops.
Yeah, Aaron Getty just came back, and he wasn't great last night. He was okay, but he wasn't great last night. I think they pulled him after 4 innings or something and gave up a bunch of runs. We lost last night, so. But I'm stoked. Leslie she got us seats right above the dugout, so.
Nice. You got the good seats?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked, man.
Go get some good food?
I hope it's $1 dog night. I think it's Star Wars night, but.
Always a good night. That'll be a good fireworks show.
Yeah, good fireworks show.
Eli went and saw a Star Wars fireworks show earlier this summer and said it was amazing.
Good. Okay. Well, it'll be fun, man. I'm looking forward to getting out of the office for a few days. And I heard the water in Galveston is green right now, like blue green. It's like
I was at the bay yesterday,
you were down there,
and it was so beautiful. The water looked amazing.
Yeah, I hope it's still there by Sunday.
It looks good for you.
We'll get down there. All right, dude. Well, have a good rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.